6, 2025 regular meeting of the City of Troy Planning Commission. Copies of the agenda for tonight's meeting are available at the entrance to the room. Agendas and minutes of prior meetings are available on the city website. The meeting will be conducted in accordance with the agenda as presented or amended by the Planning Commission. State law establishes planning commissions. This planning commission is comprised of 9 residents appointed to serve our community. Members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by city council. Other individuals participating in the meeting include representatives of the city's planning department, city attorney's office, and the city's planning consultant, Carlisle Wortman Associates. If you wish to address the planning commission, please come forward to the lectern, which I guess is over there, when recognized, and clearly print your name and address on the sign-in sheet, and please begin your remarks by stating your name for the benefit of the commissioners. All remarks are to be addressed to the planning commission and not to anyone else in the room. If you have a cell phone or any other device that might disrupt this meeting, please either switch it to silent mode or turn it off. At this time, I ask the Planning Commission Recording Secretary, Kathy Zarnicki, to conduct the roll call.
Mr. Buechner?
Here.
Mr. Faison?
Here.
Mr. Fox?
Here.
Mr. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Krent?
Here.
Mr. Lambert?
Here.
Ms. Malala-Holly? Ms. Parakis?
Here.
Mr. Tagle? Quorum present, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next is approval of tonight's agenda. Do I have a motion? Mr. Fox motions. And we got a second from Mr. Buechner. Any changes, questions, additions? All right, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. Mr. Faison?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krent?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
And Mr. Buechner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from the August 12th, 2025 meeting. A motion from Mr. Buechner and a second from Mr. Krent. Any comments, edits? All right, I think we're ready for the roll call.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krent?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Buechner?
Yes.
Mr. Faison?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have public comment for items that are not on the agenda tonight. Is anyone here to speak on any items that are not on tonight's agenda? All right, seeing nobody, we will move on to our first item for tonight, which are, it's going to be a planning commission training. We're going to learn about the Roberts Rules of Order, newly revised, and it will be presented by Ms. Aileen Dixon, our city clerk. Thank you.
Really briefly, we do provide training opportunities to the planning commission. We encourage planning commissioners to attend the Michigan Association of Planning Conference and other events that Mr. Krent brings up all the time. We do some training in-house. We, in my opinion, don't do enough. So Aileen was kind enough to put this together and give us a refresher, and we're going to make the same presentation to other boards and committees. So thank you for being here this evening. I promised she'd go first so she could present the also.
Not that everything here is intense. Yeah, thanks for inviting me tonight. I'm always happy to talk about stuff like parliamentary procedure. I know that's weird to say. So the reason I titled this, but this isn't Parliament, is because I say that all the time, because parliamentary procedure was written for everywhere from a 500 or more size board down to a 7-person board or a 10-person board or something like that. So this is very basic. It's very short. I tried to not put everything in there. The typical condensed version of Robert's Rules of Order is this. This is not in there. Because what I wanted to focus on was the stuff that you would encounter day to day in your meetings. So you may have heard other things talked about in Robert's Rules of Order that we may not cover here. If you have any questions later on, feel free to always ask. But this is going to cover basically what you would encounter real world local government. So Robert's Rules of Order was originally written in 1876. This is the 12th edition that was published in 2020. So it does get updated, but the 4 principles that are the focus of Robert's Rules of Order are the quorum, equality, decorum, and majority rule. So I'm going to briefly cover how those 4 principles would come into your life as a planning commissioner. And this just a couple facts about Robert's Rules of Order, about how it's kind of a long book. So quorum. So 9 commissioners would be a quorum of 5, which you probably already are familiar with that. If 1 to 4 commissioners show up, the meeting would be adjourned due to lack of quorum, so the chair or the vice chair would announce that, and then the meeting would be rescheduled most likely. There can be no discussion, deliberation, or votes without a quorum. If there are 5 commissioners that happen to meet in the grocery store, you should separate because you would have a quorum if you were in the grocery store with 5. Also, commissioners should be mindful of gathering any place, even at a social event. Not that you would be discussing business necessarily, but it's just a good idea to not gather in groups of 5 or more because it could be perceived as a meeting. And I'm sure you've already talked about OMA. This also affects OMA.
Who is OMA? Who's OMA?
The Open Meetings Act.
Okay.
Yeah, so that regulates when meetings occur for public bodies. So if you had 5 commissioners standing around in a grocery store, it could be considered a meeting. So it's just a good idea to avoid that. A very incredibly important principle of Robert's Rules of Order, and kind of the whole point of it, is equality. And what equality is referring to is that every member of the board is equal. Every member of the board has met the same eligibility requirements. They have the same authority and responsibility, with the exception of a couple that perhaps the chair or the vice chair would hold. But overall, each member's vote is equal. So each member is entitled to the same rights on the board. And that one of those rights is informed voting, which means that commissioners are entitled to explanations and to do question and answer prior to taking votes. They're entitled to making a motion, which would include stating the title from the agenda so that it's clear to every member of the board what is being discussed and voted on. And also, the chair would repeat the current motion prior to voting, again, to make sure that each member of the commission is informed as to what is being discussed and voted on. All commissioners are entitled to speak. Now, there can be rules that would say that all commissioners can speak once before a commissioner speaks multiple times, but all commissioners are entitled to speak on every item. It's the chair's responsibility to make sure all these rules are being followed and that each member of the commission has the same amount of time to speak, the same opportunities to speak, and that there aren't, a commissioner, for example, speaking multiple times out of turn. Also, time limits can be imposed in the rules, the commission rules, where there be time limits for the debate for each commissioner, or the time limits for public comment. So, for example, at the city council level, there are time limits of like 3 minutes for public comment, or 15 minutes for a petitioner, or something like that. But each of those rules would need to be enforced equally. So there couldn't be a rule imposed of 15 minutes on one commissioner, but like an hour or more on another commissioner, for example. Another of the basic principles is decorum. So obviously, we all know what decorum means. It basically just means avoiding personal remarks or attacks, but can also mean maintaining the process and the order by which the meetings are conducted. So in order to maintain order, the chairperson would hold each item and hold the discussion of each item equally. So there would be a motion, which any commissioner can make, and included in that motion would be the title from the agenda, a second by a commissioner, followed by discussion of the entire commission, then the vote, which the chair would repeat the motion of the title of the resolution before taking the vote so that all commissioners are informed of what they're voting on. And then the chair would announce motion passes or fails. All those items are important to make sure that every member of the commission understands what's being voted on and has an equal opportunity to discuss it. You would only consider one issue at a time, so you would never cross over into another item, and each speaker should speak one at a time. Again, it would be the chair's responsibility to make sure that if commissioners were talking over each other, that we hold order. So the chairperson would maintain order, make sure everyone is speaking one at a time so that all voices can be heard equally. Again, with minority rights, which means everyone has a right to speak. And again, the chair maintains the order and protects the rights of all the commissioners. The next principle would be majority rule. So the majority of a 9-person board would be 5. Some items, such as the master plan, would require a supermajority, so that would be 6. That's also included in your rules of procedure. The chair is responsible for maintaining order and decorum. So again, majority cannot silence the minority, which means every member that is voting in a certain way cannot prevent the members from the opposite from not speaking. Also, equal time to all members. The minority cannot disrupt proceedings. So on the other side of that, the minority cannot prevent the majority from voting. Every commissioner who wishes to speak is allowed before other commissioners speak multiple times. And members of the public must be allowed to speak, but time limits can be observed. So for motions, I've talked about just a few of the very basic motions that you would run into regularly in your meetings. Every motion would follow the order of a move, a second, a discussion, and then the vote. Resolutions are printed on the agenda, but resolutions can also be introduced at the meeting as long as the rules are followed. So the rules for the Planning Commission would need to be observed. There'd probably be a waiver of the rule regarding the agenda in order to add an item. This is very important to follow in order to maintain order in the commission meetings. A subsidiary motion can occur, but a main motion must be active. So a main motion, for example, would be an item that's on your agenda and it's been moved and seconded. So that would be considered a main motion. A subsidiary motion would be a motion that could postpone, for example, or table, for example, that main motion to another day, to later in the meeting, or an amendment, which could add an amendment to the main motion, but then there's an order that needs to be followed with that, where you would still need to vote on the main motion, which includes the amendment. So I kind of detailed that out a little bit here. There's different kinds of amendments. You can amend by insertion, amend by striking out, or amend by substitution. Any of those are equally acceptable, but they need to have that order followed in order to be, it all goes towards maintaining order and making sure that all the members understand what's being voted on. So the last part is I provided some samples of actual verbiage that would be used. And these are very basic. I mean, I just kind of made this up because I kind of understand about this much of planning commission work from 25 years of working here. But I kind of just threw in some samples of what it might sound like to have, the first one would be just a standard resolution, a standard main motion with an amendment that would be thrown in. And then the second one is a standard main motion with a postponement. So if you just wanted to read through those at your leisure, you can see kind of how the order would go and how, when you follow this process, it's very orderly and it makes sure that everyone has a right to speak and that it's very clear what's being voted on. So sometimes when there's 2 and 3 amendments that go into a motion, it can become quite confusing. Which one are we voting on, whatever. So just as the clerk for council, many times I've had to say, well, this is what you're voting on right now. Now we're going to vote on this one next. And that's all to make sure that everyone is on the same page and everyone understands, because we wouldn't want anyone to vote on something that they're not clear on. So that is all I have for you.
Nicely done. Nice presentation.
Thank
I
you.
like the layout too. It's
Oh,
really
good.
easy, really easy to
Thank you.
follow.
Thank you. So again, not all of this, but this is the stuff that you would probably need the most, so.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of
All
course.
right. And I don't want to, I've got like 4 questions, so
Okay.
I want to let my fellow.
We gotta be equal here.
commissioners- Yeah, I know, that's what I was going to get everyone. The first one is, if we don't, this hasn't happened to us yet, but if we don't have a quorum, but there's a public hearing called for that night, do we still need to go forward with a public hearing? And this might go more to Ms. Dufresne than it.
Parliamentary speaking, you should not go forward with that. Legally, I couldn't answer that, but
Okay.
parliamentary speaking, you should not entertain any kind of discussion or anything without a quorum.
Okay.
It's the same legal answer. I mean,
Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah. And it's always becomes a problem, right? Because we've noticed that these hearings, we have sometimes people in the audience, but we technically should be, we don't have quorum, we should be postponing that meeting.
Go ahead, Mr.
Can I ask more questions? Okay. All right, one of the questions that comes up repeatedly, and it's not just here, but in other bodies I've observed, is if somebody is not present at a previous meeting and we vote on the minutes, some members will say, I abstain on the vote to approve the minutes. Is that?
That's not necessary from a parliamentary
Okay.
perspective. That would be, if a member, if the minutes are on the agenda to be voted on, it would be expected that the members absent would have read the minutes before they voted to approve them. And if they had any questions or problems, they could raise those at the meeting.
Okay.
You have more questions?
Yes, but I don't want to hog the time.
I had one. You had on maybe a couple of slides that the motion is made and then the chair repeats the motion. And do they repeat like the title or read the entire motion?
They do it, every chair does it differently. It's certainly fine to read the entire motion, but I know some resolutions titles can get quite long. I would think that if you read the item number and most of the title, you would be fine.
Right,
As long as
that
it's
makes
clear.
sense, that makes sense.
Like I just happen to be looking at this one. So item number 5, public hearing conditional rezoning. That's probably not enough to identify which one you're working on. It would be better to read, the number, like the rezoning item number, then proposed, revised, and restated, whatever. So not necessarily to read the entire paragraph of the title, but a good portion of it.
Identify
Yeah.
what we're voting
And
on.
certainly if there was a commissioner that wasn't clear on which item it was, the commissioner could speak up and say, well, which item are you talking, which item is this that we're voting on? So,
Can I ask a follow-up?
That's up to the chair.
Go for it.
And I guess when making a motion, it would seem that you should wait for every commissioner to have an opportunity to speak.
So the order that you would want to go in is the chair calls the next item on the agenda, then there's a presentation or whatever needs to be discussed, staff would discuss something. Then in order before debate or discussion takes place among the commissioners, there should be a motion, a move and a second before the discussion takes place. So it should go move, second, discussion, then vote. So presentations,
I got it, yeah.
We
So
haven't been doing- we
questions
haven't been
maybe
doing that,
before
right?
the motion.
Right,
but-
so
but this-
staff presentation is kind of a separate thing where they're doing it to introduce the item and talk about it. But before the commissioners start discussing and debating and whatever, it should be moved second, then discussion, debate.
Got it, and I was thinking more of the questions, but yeah.
After the public hearing, where we've listened to the
Right,
public.
right, so you're part of it where they're asking you questions and stuff, that would all be the preliminary presentation phase of it. But before the commissioners say, I want this and I want that, then it should be move in second first.
Thank you.
We've pretty much started doing that, I think. So we present, then the petitioner comes up, then we do the public hearing, and then when we're about to start discussion, I've tried to get the
Mr.
motion
Brandis has
out.
been doing a much better
Yes.
job.
Good job.
Recently.
Ask a question on this?
Yes, of course.
A lot of times we don't know which direction we're going until we discuss it.
But that's the whole point.
Well, the move in second.
How can you make a resolution that would pass this even though we don't know?
The resolution can be changed and
Yeah.
modified. That's-
You can move a resolution and vote no on it. It's okay, it's just to get it on the table. So sometimes a member might say, I'll move this resolution just to get it on the table. And then there's a second. Now, if you read word for word, black and white, Robert's Rules of Order, they might say something like, well, a second should only be for a person who's gonna vote in the affirmative. But this is real world, Robert's Rules. So for real world, we can't just, sit here and not be able to talk about it because nobody wants to move it. So we move and second it to get it on the table, to discuss it. And then it could be a completely unanimous no vote, and that's okay. Because we just need to get it on the table so we can discuss it, because we need to follow the order of operations.
So while we're on that, so 2 things. Number 1, the person who makes the motion to pass it can then vote no on that very motion. And then also, I did notice, I was under the impression that as chair, you don't make motions.
In black and white Robert's Rules of Order, no. But that's when there's a 500-person body that we're talking about. But in a small board, the chair sometimes has to make a motion. So that could happen in certain circumstances where the chair needs to do that in order, because maybe there aren't any other commissioners that want to or whatever. So there could be a situation. It should be rare, just because the chairperson has more of a voice in meetings because you're talking more and you're keeping order and everything. But if it's necessary, it's necessary.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Mr. Fox.
Well, so, because I know in some instances, we make motions to approve and then we end up wanting to put, in the situations where we can, conditions on that approval the way that that would look hypothetically is something along the lines of, I make a motion to approve this, it's seconded while we're discussing, somebody points out, oh, we want them to put a fence on the north side of the property. Then someone would say, I want to make an amendment to the motion to add a condition that a fence is added on the north part of the property. That is then voted on
Right, so
to amend the original motion.
Yes.
And then we vote on the original motion as amended.
with the amendment in it, correct. So sample one has that exact situation, I mean, maybe not the fence, but it has that exact situation where you have a motion on the table and you're discussing it, and then something comes up where you're like, I want to change this date, that date's not going to work, I need to change the date, or I need to add a fence, or we should add this condition. And so then what you have is you have an amendment floating out there. You have the motion that's already sitting here, original. You've got an amendment floating out here. Do we want to make them have a fence or not? I don't know. We vote, it's yes. That gets incorporated into the main, and then you still have that main motion sitting there that has to be voted on, that it now includes a fence, and so then you vote on that.
May I ask a follow-up, Madam Chair?
Yeah, let me ask a follow-up really quick. So you add the fence, so I vote to add the fence, but ultimately I don't like the motion. We vote as amended, and I can say no at that point.
Yes, everyone is entitled to say no, and then if the amendment were to fail, you just go back to the main motion that's already sitting there. So say somebody says, I think they should have a fence, and then you discuss it, and then, it gets voted down. There's nobody, not enough people want the fence, not enough commissioners want the fence. So then that just disappears, that goes away, and then you're back to the main motion, what that was on the agenda.
But I'm more saying, what if there's a motion and we're debating it, and I'm not sure if I agree with the motion, but they want to add a fence, and I'm like, I'm good with the fence, if I say yes to the motion, but I'm not there yet. So I vote yes on the fence, but then when it comes down to it, I decide to vote no. I can do that.
Yes, you can do that.
Mr. Butts?
Well, I know in a lot of instances with the example motions that were provided, the planning office provides us with kind of suggested conditions. So effectively, to address those, the original person who makes the motion would just include whatever staff wrote, saying, with this condition that staff, they need a stamped landscaping plan signed by a, I can't remember the term, but, and then if it's decided, hey, we don't actually want a landscaping plan again, we just amend that original motion.
Right, so if there
Okay.
was an agenda distributed a week before your meeting, and then 3 days before the meeting, there was a late submittal that changed one of the resolutions, and you're like, well, we're gonna move the resolution as it was sent to us in the late submittal. It's not on the agenda because that was already published, but it's in this late submittal. Then you're moving this late submittal item with possibly other things in it. And if that fails, then you could go back to the motion that's on, the resolution that's on the agenda. It gets messy from there.
Cool.
But the commission can vote yes or no as they see fit. Each member can vote as they see fit. So while other people that read this book might say, well, you can't do that if you do. But that's written for 500-person bodies that aren't here. This isn't what we are. So in this instance, commissioners can vote as they see fit. So if you are good with the resolution on the agenda, but then you weren't good with the late submittal, and the late submittal is the one you're considering, and you don't want that one, you vote no on it.
Mr. Sullivan?
The resolution that's in the packet is added as a courtesy to the planning commission. You don't have to use it. It's just meant to serve as assistance. If there's a condition in there that the motion maker doesn't feel is appropriate, you don't have to include it.
My last question. I remember both you and your predecessor always saying, when a motion is made and seconded, it belongs to the body.
Correct.
So if somebody says, I withdraw my second, or I withdraw my motion, that's out of order, isn't it?
If a motion is made and seconded, it cannot be just withdrawn. It can only be withdrawn if there was no second.
Okay.
So you could make a motion, and then everybody's sitting there like,
I don't like that motion.
then they can say, I'll just withdraw my motion, instead of having it just linger out there. But once it's made and seconded, you have to do something with it. You can postpone it indefinitely. If you don't want to even talk about it, you can vote it down. You can do whatever you need to do with it.
Does anyone else have any questions for Ms. Ewing?
I do, but I wanted to vote. Ms. Dixon, can you briefly discuss, Mr. Hudson likes to do this every once in a while, that is call the question. can you just talk to this body a little bit about how that procedure works?
I didn't include that in here because I wasn't sure if that was something.
And I don't mean to pick on Mr. Hudson,
No,
but he does do it.
I wasn't sure if that was, there's two things that I didn't include in here that are definitely part of Robert's Rules of Order that I wasn't sure if they would be something that you would have seen before or be interested in hearing about. But one is call the question and the other is point of order. So call the question is a way to silence the discussion. So if you want to, and that's not meant to be offensive, I'm just saying that's just the fact. It's a way to silence the discussion. So if the discussion's going round and round and round and round in circles and you're not getting anywhere and it's like we've already said the same things over and over and over, in the interest of time, a member could request to call the question. And the chair would decide if the question's going to be called, or if the chair says call the question, there could be objections from the body, there could be, everyone could just be like, yeah, I guess we're just ready for it, it's fine. And the other is point of order, which would be if there's any kind of disruption, or if there's any kind of, people are talking over each other, or, decorum is not being observed, then there could be a point of order, or if there's a blatant disregard for the rules or for Robert's Rules or the parliamentary procedure, then there could be a point of order statement made, which would be, I'm calling out this person, this other member for disobeying the rules or not observing decorum.
And anybody can make a point of order.
Yes.
But what I heard you to say is calling the question, someone calls the question, but it's up to the chair to decide whether the question should be called.
Yes.
Okay. And then I had another question along the lines of when we don't, it's a corollary to when we don't have quorum and we shouldn't have discussion. We do have instances where we have quorum, but maybe we only have 5 or 6 people and something requires 4 or 5 people, 5 people to pass. And an applicant will ask this body to postpone. What do you recommend that this body does in that instance in terms of having a discussion?
If there's more than quorum present, then it would be up to the body to decide if it's something that, for example, is an urgent matter that can't wait, and the petitioner is asking for the vote to be taken, even if it's not a full commission. The commissioners could decide, okay, we're going to just go forward and take the vote because this is an urgent matter.
Usually it's the other way around, though. It's where this body is ready to proceed, but the applicant says, hey, I don't like the people at the table right now, and I want to have a better chance of getting my, right? So what should this, we kind of get confused in what the situation there is. If the applicants ask for a postponement, and this body votes to postpone, I've always said, then we can't have a discussion. We shouldn't be having a discussion.
After the postponement is voted on? Correct. So if you're going to discuss it, it would need to be, what you can do, and I don't understand, I don't know what specific example you're talking about, but you would you could make the motion and second it, and then have the discussion, and then someone could move to postpone it to the next meeting. So you have part of the discussion, and then we know that the petitioner is here and they want us to wait, but we were ready to talk about it tonight, so we'd like to talk about it tonight, but we're gonna go ahead and be nice and postpone it, because that's what the petitioner asked for, and then you postpone it to the next meeting, but at least you've had your discussion. But you would still need to move it and second it so that you could do that subsidiary motion and postpone it.
Okay.
Can I ask about that, though? It seems to me it would be more consistent if we discussed it and postponed it for a different reason, like, we're gonna postpone it to give the applicant an opportunity to make some changes. But is it really okay to postpone it after we discuss it based on the lack of commissioners? Because then we're discussing.
If you have quorum, you can do whatever, if you have quorum, you could just go ahead and vote on it. You know what I mean? You don't have to postpone it because the petitioner asked for, that would be a courtesy to do that. But if it's on the agenda and you have a quorum, you could just go ahead and move it, second it, discuss it, vote on it. You don't have to postpone it. The solution that I offered was just, if you were like, well, we're all ready to discuss it right now, how could we do that? In order to discuss it without, aside from the staff presentation and the Q&A that might go back and forth, if you wanted to have your discussion, the only way to do that would be to move and second it and then have your discussion. And then you could say, you know what, we are going to postpone it.
But it's not wrong to vote in the postponement and then not have a discussion about the issue, because part of the point is,
Right.
right, so if we're missing
Because
3
you're right.
people, we don't wanna have that discussion with those 3, because then we just have to do the whole
Because
thing.
many times, you might like flesh things out during your discussion that bring up the reason why you'd want to postpone it. And so it's not wrong to say, well, we're gonna discuss it and then we'll figure out if we want to postpone it or not. I mean, that's not a decision you have to make right away. And there might be things in that discussion that go, you know what, this probably would be better to postpone it. And so there's not a rule really about no discussion allowed if you think you might postpone it. Because you don't know, I mean, everyone can say they'd want to postpone it, but you don't know until people vote. So, you know, you don't know that you're going to postpone it until it's voted on and it passes. So,
Okay, so that's a little bit different than what, okay.
Mr. Lambert?
That leads to another question, which is, let's say it's a public hearing, and we have a petitioner say, I'd like to postpone it, but then you still need to hear from the public at that meeting, regardless of whether we're going to
Right.
postpone it or not. So at what point should the motion be made to postpone?
so in that instance, you would continue the public hearing to the next meeting,
Okay,
which would be a vote as well, but it wouldn't be a postponement, it would be a continuation, so that the public hearing essentially stays open for 2 weeks or whatever it is. And then that would be the first item on your agenda. The next meeting would be the continuation of the public hearing from this meeting and then the title.
but would the commission should they be discussing it if they decide to postpone it, but still holding the public hearing?
Well, once the public hearing is opened, that's when the public comment would take place. So for example, you post a public hearing, everyone is expecting it to be on, August 26th. All these people show up, but you're not ready to vote on it. The public could come and speak, but you wouldn't close the public hearing. And in order to have the discussion, you would have to close the public hearing.
Okay.
So then you would allow the public to speak, but then you would say, we're going to continue this public hearing to the next meeting. So then the people that were in the audience wouldn't necessarily have to show up at the next one because they already had their voices heard. If they could, if they wanted to, but they wouldn't necessarily have to show up at the next meeting to get their voices heard again because they were heard by the commission.
But we're required to give them another 3 minutes if they show up at the next meeting.
Correct.
Can we call a question?
Mr. Bramber, is this the time that you were going to talk about some of the other procedural things about, there was an email that went around about like conditional rezoning and PUDs and the way that we put the items into the resolution?
I wasn't prepared to talk about those things today, because I
Okay.
know we have other business to get to. I think we do need to have those discussions, but I
Okay.
figured we'd do it, have Ms. Dixon come in and sort of give us this baseline.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
But yeah, no, I wasn't prepared to do that today, just because we have
Okay.
other matters. on our
Perfect.
agenda.
Okay. All right, does anyone have any other questions for Ms. Dixon? All right, thank you so much.
All right,
for coming.
thanks for having me.
That was very helpful.
Good job.
Thank you.
Very helpful.
Thanks.
All right, now I'm nervous about everything I say here. Okay, so we're moving on to our special use approval, which is item 6. It is a public hearing. Special use application SU JPLN 2025-0016. Wow. Proposed Big Beaver mixed use, south side of Big Beaver, east of I-75. The address is 575 West Big Beaver, PIN 88-20-28-203-35, Section 28, currently zoned Big Beaver District. And I believe Mr. Carlisle is going to be giving our presentation.
Yes, thank you. The site is directly across from City Hall. It's a mixed-use development. It's on the south side of Big Beaver, directly east of the northbound off-ramp for I-75. Subject site is zoned Big Beaver Form-Based District. The Planning Commission remembers we recently just approved a development at this location adjacent to it.
With the exact same name.
With the exact same name. We had a little bit of administrative headaches with the same name for both projects. So what's being proposed is an infill development in front of the existing hotel. There's an existing hotel that just got renovated in this location. So the proposal is to do a mixed-use development right in the frontage here in front of Big Beaver. As part of the development, they will also demolish, there's an existing vacant restaurant, they will demolish the restaurant as part of the proposal, and they include a shared parking, this is actually still one parcel, the shared parking between the new use as well as the existing hotel. The site layout is in front of you. It's a 93,000 square foot building. It's approximately 8 stories, not approximately, it is 8 stories. Mixed use building. The mix includes a mix of retail, hotel, and residential uses. The proposal is 80 hotel rooms, 24 apartment units, and the retail is to be a small, what they're anticipating, a restaurant or cafe use. As noted, the restaurant will be demolished, which is in this current location. The hotel and the rear of the site will remain, and there's a shared parking between both of the different uses on site. With regards to the first floor layout, I thought this was important to show because it's an interesting component in front of us. In discussion with the applicant, the apartment and the hotel users are going to share some first floor amenities. This includes a fitness center, some community flex room, some common seating areas, as well as a breakfast area. We do note that there are separate lobbies for the hotel and the apartment. The hotel lobby and vestibule is in this location. The apartment lobby is in this location. I should note, I'm sorry, this is Big Beaver, just for reference. The apartment lobby is this location. We do note that though they are talking about shared amenities, there's no interior connection between the two lobby areas. So it would require, unless I've misread the floor plans, the architect can correct me, the users of the apartment to use these facilities would have to leave the facility, walk outside to the hotel vestibule and enter that way. So we do think there should be some discussion about some common entrances interior to the development itself. And again, the retail area is in this corner of the development and again intended for a small cafe or restaurant. With regards to access and circulation, there is one existing access point off Big Beaver that will remain. There are multiple shared connections with the parking lots of both the existing development as well as its adjacent developments. The yellow line represents the internal pedestrian walkway system, and they provided a pedestrian connection from the existing hotel to the new development and around the development and out to Big Beaver. Parking has been a question that we've raised with the applicant, so this may be a little confusing, this slide, so I'm gonna try to walk people through what this slide is intending to show. So currently there's 402 parking spaces available on site. That includes the hotel use and the current restaurant use. During the elimination of, or the construction of the mixed-use building, there'll be approximately 75 spaces that will be removed and used for the staging and construction area. And the existing hotel, which is this location, is gonna have a 216 space demand requirement. So during construction, the parking supply will be 327 spaces. So it's a 402 on site minus the 75 that's gonna be proposed for use of the new development. That leaves an excess of 111 spaces that's available during the construction period. So they are in excess of the requirements during the construction. One of the things the Planning Commission may remember is there was a shared parking agreement with this development as part of that. That includes 25 spaces. So if you take out the 25 spaces that they're sharing with this development, there are now 87 excess spaces during the construction period. This has been reviewed by OHM and confirmed by the city engineer, and they agree with these numbers that these are accurate numbers. So during construction, they'll have an excess of 86 spaces on site. Post-construction, the hotel requires 216, the new development is 123. So the total requirement during post-construction is 339 spaces. They are providing 342 spaces. So they are over the required parking requirements. Again, this has been reviewed by OHM and the city engineer. They do support it as well as they do support the shared parking between the different developments on the property. With regards to elevations, this is the Big Beaver elevation being shown. We know that the first floor of the Big Beaver elevation is stone. There's going to be brick on the 2nd through 6th floor, and then metal panels are on the 7th and 8th floor. And then there's some glass columns that are kind of outlining the two edges of the building. The I-75 elevations, again, these are the two most visible elevations from the public right-of-way. Stone has actually been extended to the 4th floor. Brick is kind of running on the front end to the third and sixth floor. Metal panels in the fifth and eighth floor, and again, these glass columns run off the side too. This is a rendering of the site. This is Big Beaver. 75 is in this location. This is the front rendering on Big Beaver in public realm. This is the back side of the building fronting on the parking lot. Again, 75 in this location. This is a closer up detail of the rear elevation. The applicant did not provide a closer detail of the Big Beaver elevation to compare, but I wanted to show this rendering. I guess this is a close-up one of the Big Beaver side. So we've spent a lot of time on the Big Beaver corridor, obviously, and really focused a lot of our attention on this corridor. And many of the key elements of the Big Beaver corridor encourages the building set close to the street, and this is intended to really present a pedestrian-friendly environment and frontage. Actually, we've seen a few people actually walking Big Beaver and crossing underneath 75s, which is a rarity before, but now we actually see people actually doing it now. As well as active ground floors that contribute to the streetscape, both from a pedestrian realm, but also from drivers as they drive by the development. We encourage architectural variety and high-quality materials, as well as context-sensitive setbacks, massing, and facade transparency to meet those goals of the Big Beaver corridor. So in discussion with the applicant, they have revised elevations based on our initial review, and these are the revised elevations. But we do ask the applicant to speak to the Planning Commission and talk a little bit about how this design advances the city's design principles along Big Beaver, how it re-identifies the critical identity of this corridor. I would argue, rightly or wrongly, that this site is perhaps the most visible site in Troy left, right at the intersection of 75 Big Beaver, especially from the northbound exit ramp of 75. So it's a highly visible location in the city of Troy. How this design activates the pedestrian experience on Big Beaver, and lastly, how it activates the street with a meaningful mix of uses. So. When we review these developments, we have standards that we review them under. And the idea of the Big Beaver District is not just technically meet all the zoning requirements. It's not just to check the boxes, but how does it advance and exemplify what we're trying to achieve along the corridor with some of our standards in our master plan. So we're asking the Planning Commission to consider that context and have a discussion with the applicant with regards to these standards. There are 3 sets of standards the Planning Commission should consider. The first is the Big Beaver design standards, orientation, activation, transitional features, and site access and parking. The site plan standards and compatibility to commercial districts in transition, incorporation best architectural practices, and lastly, enhancing the character and safety for pedestrians and motorists. And again, a hotel, which is the upper stories of this development, is a special use, and there are the special use standards set forth in 9.03, so we ask the Planning Commission to consider those standards as part of their review. We strongly support the development of this project. It really does lend to the intent of what we're trying to achieve. It's reusing and readapting an underused parking lot to really advance the vision of the Big Beaver corridor. However, we do ask the question about the problems of site, particularly the key gateway of the feature. The Planning Commission should consider if the architectural program matches the intent of what we're trying to achieve along the corridor. So with that, I'm finished and can answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carlisle. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Carlisle? Mr. Fox?
I couldn't tell from the floor plans, and the renderings got me curious. So I noticed on the side facing the parking lot, there is designation that it'll be a retail shop, and then on the side facing Big Beaver, it mentions coffee shop. Is the intention for it to be 2 separate units, one where it could be like a cafe, and then one that could be some other type of retail?
The floor plan indicates, again, these are white box floor plans. It indicates one space.
Okay.
I don't know if this will be split up, and I get the applicants here and can address this better.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be split up into multiple tenants, but right now it's one white box of a retail space.
And then I guess if I may, a second question is based on the zoning and what is allowed in the Big Beaver corridor, would that type of unit lend itself to some kind of like grocer / like small scale
Certainly,
Okay.
that'd be encouraged to type that use. I mean, obviously it becomes a question of parking and how we park it,
Of course.
but in terms of uses, a grocer would be a permitted use in the district.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Beza?
It looked like the entrances were on the parking lot side of the building, is that correct?
So there's the primary entrances to the apartments and hotels are here on the parking lot side. There is entrances off of, there's a side entrance here off 75 elevation, as well as there's an entrance here to the lobby of the hotel off of Big Beaver as well.
So the hotel, but not the retail?
It's here, again, this is a white box retail space, so in terms of where the actual door would go,
I
it's
understand.
really something that be fleshed out whenever the tenant gets approved, whether it's again, multi-tenant or a single tenant for that retail space.
You're gonna need a couple doors probably.
Well, they're gonna require to have a door that fronts and as accessible from Big Beaver, but again, whether it's two tenants or one, if it's two tenants, it'd be multiple entrances. If it's one tenant, it'll be at least one entrance off Big Beaver as well. I assume it won't one off the parking lot as well.
But being in the Big Beaver district, it does need to have a primary entrance on Big Beaver. Okay. Mr. Lambert?
In your report or your staff's report, you said there's a question of whether it's 7 floors or 8 floors. Has that been resolved, or do we need to ask the petitioner about that?
Yeah, that was unclear in the first submittal because there was, in some plans noted 7, some plans noted 8. The revised submittal corrected it to be 8 floors.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions before we invite the applicant? All right. I think it's sort of an awkward setting because we've got our backs to you, but welcome, and I think I saw you sign in.
I did.
All right.
I'm
excellent.
Scott Bowers, Bowers and Associates.
Oh, wait, yeah, I'm sorry, you have to use the microphone because they're recording the meeting. And that way your voice will get picked up.
You can sing a song for us too.
If I knew the lyrics of one, I'd do it for you. But
Can you move it this way? So
Yeah. Make it comfortable for you.
Go. Is this good enough?
Looks good.
All right, thank you. Scott Bowers, Bowers and Associates Architects. It is an 8-story building. We are bringing entrances out onto the Big Beaver corridor, as well as patio space and active spaces. To the far right on that one is actually the fitness center. That one, we have a view into the fitness center, but we didn't put seats right next to the windows. We did add a lot more glass into this version, as well as balconies for the apartments. But I am very excited about this building, and I'd love to learn what else we could do to make it one of Troy's best.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the event that the hotel market becomes volatile and you know, the hotel units, hotel rooms are no longer viable as hotels, are they readily convertible to apartments or condos?
Yes, if you look at the floor plans, we've carried it all the way down to where they would mimic the apartments up above.
Yeah, Mr. Fox?
Do you care to speak to the point that Mr. Carlisle brought up about not having an internal connection between the apartment lobby and the hotel lobby?
We can, but I think staff would want to know who's coming in and out. And that would give them access to the hotel, which is a little more problematic for the operation.
Security.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I know this is probably more of an operational thing than an architect thing, but just for the record, I know that in some buildings that I've lived in and in some buildings that friends of mine have lived in, what they'll do is that they'll have like a key card that you just give one to every renter. It's like, hey, this is you can beep to get through that door, and then it monitors who's going through the door, when they're going through it, and they can access the amenities without having to exit the building. So again, I'm sure that's more of an operations thing than an architect thing, but
Correct.
just throwing it out there.
We'll have similar key cards as it is, so.
Go ahead, Mr.
I got a more of an architectural thing. Since this is really a gateway position in you know, off I-75, Big Beaver, major intersection, what could you do to that building, maybe in the form of lighting, to make it just more of a statement, architectural statement? I'm looking at the upper bands maybe, you know, like the General Motors building at the Renson. Maybe something that make it look like, oh yes, this is definitely Troy, as opposed to Southfield or someplace else.
Definitely can do something like that. I think I had a nighttime version in renderings.
You see one there?
But we were looking into that.
Yeah, especially because you've got these columns, these glass columns. You could do something really, you know, it doesn't have to be gaudy, but it could be just elegant and, you know, lighting maybe those columns going straight up in glass. It's just some thoughts to throw out as far as enhancing the destination ability, you know, make it look like a destination place.
Understood. I like the idea.
There was no nighttime rendering in the packet.
I probably did not send it to you, but I do have one.
Mr. Lambert?
So I see on the renderings it says Town Place Suites. I don't know if that's who's gonna be your tenant or not, but is that gonna be a different chain than the Troy Inn that's behind you? Or do you plan on having two different hotels on the site?
There'd be 3 different hotels, because that one's an Even in Indigo, the one that's behind it.
Okay.
And, no, it's not certain that it's gonna be at Town Place.
One kind of, just an additional comment is maybe some type of pedestrian lighting along the sidewalk there to make it more amenable to people feeling comfortable walking down the sidewalk in front of your building here would be something that you should look into.
Great idea. We'll probably carry over what we did over at the other hotel. There's pedestals along the walkway.
Okay, so we've got the existing hotel in the back. It's entirely blocked from view from Big Beaver by the new building. And it's going to be under a different name. That place is not part of the hotel in the front. So if I'm driving down Big Beaver, how am I going to know that that's there behind that big building?
I have the ownership here.
Good.
This is Ray Bacall. He knows a good song.
Good evening. So the hotel in the back is also owned by us. We operate both properties. The Indigo has a lot of visibility on Big Beaver on 75 all the way to Big Beaver when you exit the ramp. And these upper scale hotels are really driven by the reservation system. Our leisure business, which the people that just walk in, is normally 10% that will come in and rent a room. Most of the time, these rooms are pre-sold based on the reservation system that we already have. And the reason we're trying to select one of the upper scale brand by Marriott is because we want to divide the reservation system from IHG in the back to Marriott to have 2 different faucets of reservation, 2 different system to bring us the business. So as far as the visibility, I think the visibility on this whole piece is amazing.
Okay, but here, I'm flying into Detroit. I've never been to Troy ever before. And the guy says, oh yeah, it's on Big Beaver, here's the address. I've got this number, it's on my phone. And I drive by it and I look for the name, I drive by it again, I look for the name. How do I know that it's hiding behind that big building?
Well, we're gonna have, we have existing signage for both properties on Big Beaver and 75,
Okay.
right in the corner.
Okay. I just, you know, I just like fully, I don't want to make people, I don't want your customers coming in aggravated because they couldn't find you.
Well, good point, but we're hoping with the world of navigation and all that, they'll find it. And the signage on Big Beaver is pretty large one already.
Good, yeah. Make it easy on people.
Yes, of course.
Mr. Fox?
I did, and this is potentially more for the architect, I did want to inquire about the trash enclosure screening. That's something that was mentioned in our report here. Could you just provide some details regarding how the trash is being enclosed?
I believe PEA did add that in just recently.
Oh, lovely. Would you mind letting us know whereabouts they added that? Sorry.
The trash enclosure, you guys saw, if you saw it, sorry, Dave Hunter from PEA Group.
Thank you.
Is shown there in the, behind this, it will, the way it's constructed will mimic the building construction, so.
Okay.
It will blend in with the setting there. And the
Fantastic.
landscape.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Beekner?
One detail I read in the details that we were provided about mechanical, it's not on the roof, it's not outside, is it inside?
Mechanical will end up being in the roof and screened.
Gotcha. And then I just want to ask the question, because before I got here, my biggest question was parking. We can see the details. If you're parked way south, you're going to get some steps in, but do you guys feel really comfortable about the parking? Okay. I like what I'm seeing here, I like what I was reading. I think it's a great visibility for our city.
I have a couple of questions and comments. One question is, do the units have laundries in them?
The hotel rooms?
The apartments?
Of course.
Okay, so the apartments have them, but there's no general laundry, like as an amenity on the first floor or anything?
There is going to be a guest laundry.
Oh, there is, okay. I know this is, I'm with Mr. Fox in believing that there should be a connection between the two buildings, so that way the people who live in the apartment have access to the gym and the restaurant and all that, with a key card should be able to come and go. It would seem to make a lot more sense. I also want to take a look at could we look at the west side of the building? I'm picturing the people, these people on the bikes coming in, and right now the sidewalk, actually this isn't the best view, but that one. The sidewalk ends before they can get to the front of their building. I'd love to see that sidewalk continue and wrap around the whole building so people don't have to go all the way around. So if people are coming on foot or by bike, they can make it to the front apartment. Is that something that you guys could consider doing?
It's not a problem.
Okay. And then, let me just ask about all of this transparency that goes up the sides of the building. Is that glass with just a white behind it? It's not a true window, is that correct?
It's a true window. There'll be, where they hit the floors, it won't be a true window. But those are stairwells.
Oh,
Yeah,
The one in front is actually a little lounge by the elevators.
so
Yes, sir.
that on the ground floor are windows, and then the entire thing up is a stairwell, and it's all glass, and you can see in and out.
Yes,
And what about on the south side?
that is a lounge space by the elevators.
On the ground floor, and then up, what would be there?
It's lounge all the way up, then there's a little balcony at the very top that you can see, sort of.
So if you're looking from the sidewalk, you can see people going up the stairs or down the stairs.
Correct.
Or people in the lounge areas over here, and they can look out and see people.
Yeah, they got a great view to,
What do you mean, every single floor has a lounge?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
for the hotel.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay.
So a hangout area.
Yeah,
Are you considering designating any parking spots to the south of the building for the cafe or the restaurant? So that way, if somebody comes off Big Beaver, no relationship to the hotel or the apartments, who wants to use the restaurant, they don't have to park way in the back of the second hotel because there's no parking.
we discussed that because we're gonna want probably immediate access into the retail space. So we haven't totally formally what we gotta do, but we know we have to do it, otherwise it'll be
Okay.
hard to lease space.
And from a planning perspective, for, this question's for you guys, when you determined the parking for this, it was sort of a generic restaurant / retail.
Yeah.
But there is a number that you came up with, let's say it's 30 spots, 15 spots. They're not required to designate that a certain distance from there. It can be anywhere on this property.
As long as it's on the same property,
Okay,
that's all the requirement for distance.
okay,
Most will designate certain spots, and most operators will designate certain spots for, a retail use or non. But that's just simply an operational
Okay,
requirement, it's
okay.
not a zoning code requirement.
and it could be during business hours.
Sure.
Okay. Then we talked about how there was a connection between the two, the property to the east, but the pictures seem to show a boulevard, like grass, and I didn't see any connection to the other parking lot.
You go to the aerial. So, this is a drive aisle,
Yeah,
and they're gonna put curbs in, and I think there's, the site plan shows 2 points of access along this common shared drive aisle.
but going into that parking,
There is up underneath that lettering.
Underneath
right,
administrative.
right there, yeah.
Right here, and then there's also one here going to this site as well.
I feel like on the new elevations, they boulevarded it and they did not create,
This is just, are you talking about
no, I'm talking about an actual pretty elevator, like that, let's look. There, it's not showing a connection with the east.
I think it's just an artistic rendering that didn't
Sorry.
anticipate.
And we go through the green space there.
Okay, okay.
Great ones.
I mean, I'm just asking the question because I didn't see it. Okay. So the apartments, are they gonna be furnished or not furnished? And are they rentals or sale? The apartments,
They're gonna be rental.
rental?
Yes.
And they're not furnished?
No.
Okay, then there was a question about a loading, not needing a loading area. And I don't know a lot about these things, but how are you gonna accommodate, is there a service elevator for when people move into the apartments?
They have their own service elevator, their own elevator, which is sized to be a service elevator.
But it is just one elevator?
One for the 24.
Okay,
There's two for the hotels.
understood, okay. And that's fine, okay. Another thing I noticed when I drove over there is a breezeway between the restaurant that's gonna be demoed and the existing hotel. So that's just gonna be blown right out.
Correct, it's gonna be the house.
Yeah, that goes gone.
Because when I drove over there, they were connected and I couldn't figure out where I had to go around the back to see that it was, actually a separate building. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Mr.
I do,
Go ahead.
I actually want to go, Scott, you mentioned a lounge in the hotel at each end, I think you said? What,
No, it's in that glass corner where,
the HSKP, that's a lounge?
no, down below.
Housekeeping.
So it's mechanical L,
That will be a lounge.
Mechanical, electrical.
so
It's mislabeled because it's all glass, but that is a lounge space. So there'll be a door here. And this, we have enough mechanical electrical space. This is,
What's the circle with the square?
that's a carryover for this guy.
What is it?
Shoot. Housekeeping shoot.
Oh.
I'm
That
sorry,
won't be there.
That won't be in that room.
Right, okay.
sorry, Scott, having trouble envisioning the lounge, so this mechanical electrical goes away?
Yeah, I don't need it.
So this whole thing is a lounge?
This whole thing from here over is a lounge. This is just the lobby for the building. These go up. This one goes.
So what goes in the lounge?
Seats.
Just a sitting area?
Probably TV. It's an extended stay, so it gives them a break from going out doing something else instead of just being in their room.
And that, so,
We're looking at the
so
residential.
I thought that bank of elevators went all the way up to the apartments and it didn't stop on the other floors.
It doesn't go up. This one goes, these two go up. This one's for the apartments.
So why not have that entire space as a lounge then? Because there's no access to the elevator anyway.
You can, I mean, it's just a whole hallway.
Yeah, so there is no access.
It's a hallway
He
to
said
the
it was the lobby to the elevator, but there is no access to the elevator, so really it's just a hallway into the
Just
lounge.
at the top 2 floors.
Okay.
Okay. And then for the apartments at the top, it's not a lounge, it's like a
It's an elevator
penthouse, it's
lobby.
like there.
It's an elevator lobby.
Oh, right.
Here's a patio that we have on this floor. That's cool.
Okay. Okay, so I have a couple other questions then about the face of your building that faces the parking lot has an awning, and it looks to me like the primary entrance. If I were not to know the context of the building and you said, where's your primary entrance, I would have said
That one.
that one.
South.
And our zoning ordinance for Big Beaver District does require the primary entrance to front Big Beaver. So, I don't want you to take away from this, because I think this is beautiful, but is there a way that we can not elaborate, but accentuate the front side that fronts Big Beaver to give it a little bit more prominence and welcoming people in? It just seems a little bit muted compared to the back side.
Yeah, there's not a problem. We could do something a little more, especially for the retail space.
Yeah?
I think it's pretty good for the hotel.
Because it would also it will attract people driving by. I understand your point for hotels, people pre-book those for sure. But restaurants is something that people drive by, and the point of the Big Beaver corridor is to create that connection, so when people are driving by, they're like, oh, there's a restaurant I haven't tried, and they pull in and try it. So it would be nice to have more of a presence there. I'd like to see that left side, the east side, the northeast side, you know what I'm talking about, have a little bit more of a presence.
Given that this is literally visible from my office, I think a condition of approval should be that has to be a coffee shop.
It does say
With a
coffee.
crosswalk.
With a pedestrian sky bridge.
Can you give us an idea
Based
of
on
that
that.
retail, it might have been on there, but I didn't notice it. How many square feet is that retail block?
Almost 36. 100.
So realistically, that means nothing to me, I don't know why I asked the question, but realistically, can you do two things? Can you put a coffee shop and a restaurant, like a fast casual, or is it gonna be just one thing?
You have 1,500, 1,600 square feet each, probably, depends on how fast casual it is.
Okay. Mr. Beaker?
While that's up, can you just speak to what we're seeing in front of there? I see a couple overhangs and a couple umbrellas. What do we got going there with, I think they got the retail on the far side and it says coffee there to the left.
So this would be the retail portion. This is a pergola, that offer a little bit of shade, and there's seating underneath here, as well as these umbrella seats. It goes from edge of building all the way up to just shy of the entrance into the hotel. The hotel space is here, another pergola seating area, then there's an outdoor seating area, probably possibly with a fire pit. Give a little attraction to Big Beaver.
Nice.
This, we kept people off the glass, because people don't like to work out with people's skin.
I think that's fantastic, thank you.
Mr. Lambert?
The city's DDA just spent a lot of money improving the interchange there at 75 and Big Beaver. when you were designing this, were there aspects of those improvements or that landscaping that you tried to incorporate in the design of the building so that it would complement all of that tax dollars that were used to enhance the interchange there?
In terms of landscaping?
Landscaping or building design, whatever.
Well, I was trying to push this element out so that you got a good shot at it when you turn into Big Beaver. We're trying to work with MDOT on the 30-foot mound. But that was the idea behind this. If it's open, you can see the stairs going up. It's going to be quite attractive, I think. And then you've got a straight-on view of this whole front end of the activity.
So, man,
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Kern had a really good suggestion about light, so at night, those stairwells are gonna be lit up, so that's,
That'd be cool.
good. Address your comment.
Could we see the elevation of the, there? So, you know these windows that have been added, in the white space, the squares? Yeah, these. Are those real windows or is that the elevator shaft?
Those are real windows at the end of
Is that where the lounge is?
No, that's not the lounge.
the lounge is there.
Yeah. So those are windows into people's
There's-
apartments?
No, it's into the hallway.
Oh, into the hallway. Interesting. Okay, they look different than the other windows. So let me.
Could be just because the sun's hitting it differently in that rendering.
No, the other windows have, I don't know if the word is fenestration, whatever, but I'm trying to use these.
They got mullions, dividers, yeah.
Ben, can I see the front of the building real quick? Like, see how these windows have panes that are, they're just different. I mean, they have,
Yeah. There's an air conditioner unit.
oh, that is, yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah, and there's a line that divides it.
This one's blanked out and these two
Yeah,
are
right.
windows.
So it's a little bit different. And then you chose not to do it on the east side. Is there a reason?
It's a hallway.
If you go to the east side rendering.
It's a hallway.
That's west. That's west.
It's west.
Oh,
No,
there
those
it
two
is.
are both
It's not, oh, I see, it's not on the east side.
I would
Okay.
bet in on issues.
There's a hallway there, huh?
No, it's the hallway.
I think it was interfered with the stairwell, but I have to revisit the plans. If you want them there, they definitely helps our floor plan with the windows at the end of the halls.
Yeah, I mean, I think the stairwell is the glass. I thought we said on either
This is
end.
the stairwell.
Yeah, so you could add the windows, so then from one end to the other, it would be
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
let more light in. I think it's attractive. Okay.
And would this a similar type canopy element like this one on the other side, would that satisfy the planning commission in terms of bumping this space up a little bit?
Yeah.
Or something like that, because he's bumped out the doorway, it looks like, already, for the coffee
Yeah,
shop.
just right here.
Yeah, he's already bumped that out, so he couldn't just be one piece, it would have to be, 3 or 4
It'd be nice to
pieces.
add a awning or something.
Yeah,
to it,
make
but
it, yeah, but I like that, yeah.
And the awning on the other side is attractive. It would look nice. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly the same dimension, but
Nice.
the, earlier, when I had you pull up that other image, there was a picture of it lit up at night, wasn't there? But anyway, I
I
think,
didn't see one, but it's, maybe you have.
no, I'm talking about, at our pre-meeting.
Oh, pre-meeting.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I think getting the building, making sure it's lit up at night would be crucial for this location, coming up 75. Okay, does anyone else have any questions for the applicant?
I could read this thing if you'd like.
All right, yeah, well, it is a public hearing,
It is, okay.
so
Okay.
let's open it up first and have the public hearing. So, If anyone is here tonight to speak on this item 6, we are opening the public hearing for the special use application for this proposed Big Beaver mixed use, south side of Big Beaver, east of I-75, 575 West Big Beaver. All right, seeing no one, we're gonna close the public hearing. And now, it's time for discussion. Does anyone
No,
want to
no,
put
go-
a,
go-
yeah,
go-
does anyone want to
I'll do
propose?
it.
Okay,
Yeah, but
go ahead.
before I do, there's only one item that the planning,
It's been addressed, so you can,
okay, the screening's all set, okay. Is it, you mentioned the sidewalk that went to nowhere or something?
No, yeah.
On the west side.
On the west side, did you want to say extend the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Or it is?
No, no, that's the
That's the
wrong
east
side.
side. All right.
The sidewalk should just go around the whole building.
Okay. Yeah, we can,
you're talking about
You just
This,
there you go.
That one.
right here.
Okay, so we eliminate some of those trees then, huh? Or
No.
those
Could go push to the west.
Yeah, and just like he has trees,
Okay.
there's still room.
Okay,
Just
I
extend
get
it.
you, okay, all right.
No one's getting rid of
Extend it,
trees.
so we're gonna extend the sidewalk on the west side so the sidewalk completely wraps that whole building.
Correct.
Okay, anything else, any other items that we want to add?
We need a motion first,
Yeah, I know, okay, yeah.
and then you can add any amendments to the motion for any conditions.
Okay.
He's trying to.
Well, I'm just trying,
We just had.
I know.
He wants to nail the original.
Yeah, I just want to get the
Doesn't
original,
want it amended.
But we're not, that's not,
we can't do that, okay. All right. Resolved, that special use approval and preliminary site plan approval for the proposed Big Beaver mixed use, south side of Big Beaver, east of I-75. Address is 575 West Big Beaver, Section 28, currently zoned BB, Big Beaver District, be granted, subject to the following conditions, that we add a sidewalk on the west side of the building so that there's a walkway that completely goes around the entire building.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, we have a second. That was the end of the motion? All right,
Yep.
we have a second. So now we're going to open it to discussion. Mr. Max.
I would like to make a motion to amend the motion. I would like to amend it to include the inclusion of an indoor connection between the apartment lobby space and the hotel lobby space.
Is that all? Do we have a second? I'll second that. Do we, okay, we're discussing. Or no, wait. Do we have to vote on this amendment right away, or can we start discussing?
But there are amendments on the
We've
floor.
discussed the amendment.
It's been seconded, so we can have a discussion on the
Okay.
amendment.
discussion on the amendment.
Could we add the east windows?
That would be a
I
separate.
know, I was just gonna say, there were a
That'd be a
few
separate
more
one.
things. So as part of the discussion, because we've got a couple of motions on
You
it.
can have a discussion.
Yeah.
And then as more items come up, then you can amend the motion to add any of the additional, you don't have to do them piecemeal. You have to have a motion on the floor.
Please don't do
have
the
a discussion. Right.
Give me a flavor. No, okay, so some of the things, as part of our discussion, some of the things that we talked about were windows, were making the front have a better connection to Big Beaver as is required in our master plan and zoning ordinance, and to make the entrance appear as a primary entrance. So, you know, it is also, for me, getting to the point of, is it something that can be done administratively, or is it something that we need to see? This is a pretty big deal. So that should be something we discuss as well, because we're basically asking them to come back with a new facade to the building, and adding windows and putting a canopy. So those are some of my thoughts. Mr. Biebner.
I think you guys have heard the couple things that we've mentioned, and I think we will get it in the amendment, but you could probably keep them going in the right direction on planning commission.
Ultimately, it's a majority of the planning commission will decide that, but I think we can shepherd this through. We've been paying attention here.
Thank you.
So we're in discussion mode?
We are in discussion.
Of the-
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we've got, on the table for the amendment, we've got the windows on the east side to be added on all the floors going up on the east side, the square windows that mimic the west side. And we have a canopy to better distinguish the whatever retail's going in on the front side, on the Big Beaver side. Is there anything else?
Sidewalk on the west.
We got that, no, it's in the original.
And the connection to the hotel on the,
Connection hotels.
you had that in there too, I think.
No, not yet. It's-
So as a quick point of order, there was technically a motion to amend the original motion that was seconded, specifically just talking about the internal connection. So I think we do need to vote on the internal connection before we can start
Okay.
addressing the other issues.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
You're right. So you're laughing now.
on that note,
All right. I'm going to call the vote for the amendment to include an indoor connection between the apartments and the hotel with a key card.
lobby, yep.
So
You
we'll
ready
go
for
ahead and
vote?
take that vote.
Okay, Mr. Hudson,
No.
Mr. Krant,
Yes.
Mr. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Parakis,
Yes.
Mr. Biegner,
Yes.
Mr. Faison,
No.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so the motion for that passed. So we did amend the existing motion, which is to continue the sidewalk, and now also includes to include the indoor connection. Mr. Fox?
Now, on the original motion, on the topic of the frontage on Big Beaver, I'm personally of the opinion that, looking at that from Big Beaver, I mean, it looks like a main entryway onto Big Beaver. I think absolutely addressing, adding awnings and things like that makes sense. I don't think it's anything that the planning office wouldn't be able to administratively approve, personally. So,
I disagree. So I'm going to make another amendment to include a canopy in the, over the retail shop in the front of the Big Beaver, side of the building, and to include, what's the other one? Geez,
windows.
yeah, windows on the east side that mimic the windows on the west side of the building. Anything else? That's it. Who
I'll
wants
second
to-
that.
Good.
Okay, it's been seconded by Mr. Biegner.
Okay, thank you. I didn't catch that. Thank you.
Discussion. So I think we're discussing an amendment
Yep.
regarding adding windows on the east side of the building to mimic the west side, and also to use features that are appearing on the south side of the building to mimic on the, it doesn't have to be identical,
No,
but to
canopy.
use that sort of style to enhance the Big Beaver corridor side and to enhance the primary entrance. And I'm just curious, now that if it votes and it passes, is that enough for you to feel comfortable having it handled administratively now that it's in the, no, I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah, that's enough for me to.
Okay. I wasn't sure what you meant by that, okay. All right, other discussion. Okay, so we'll vote on this, and what we're voting on, from what I understand, is another amendment to add windows on the east side to mimic the west side, and also to enhance the primary entrance using the canopies and features that we see on the south side of the building. We're ready for the roll call.
Okay, can I ask for clarification?
Yes.
Are we doing it administratively? I heard you mention that after the support, so I'm not sure whether that's included.
Well, my understanding is if we vote on the resolution and we pass it, it means that we don't need to see it again and it will be handled administratively. I don't know that that's part of the motion. I think that I was asking him because I was wondering if he's gonna vote it down because he wants it coming back, or he's gonna postpone it because he wants it coming back.
The motions for, as I understood, motions for approval, subject to
Right.
these elements being incorporated.
So the understanding is that now that it's actually in the resolution, assuming it passes, that is enough for them, because now their hands are tied a bit because they have to comply with the resolution as amended.
Okay, understood, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So does everybody understand the motion on the floor at this point? Mr. Lambert?
Just one question, or I mentioned early on to the architect about enhancing or adding pedestrian lighting, and I was wondering if that would be considered to be within the purview of staff to work with the applicant to include that as part of the pedestrian amenities, or do I need to eventually make another amendment? So you're the chair, so you
Yeah.
can make a ruling.
I was gonna say, I think that is a good point. We didn't bring up lighting at all, so perhaps another amendment
Okay,
will
I'll
be
wait.
to talk about the lighting. I believe the lighting is really important, not just pedestrian lighting, but in terms of lighting up. I showed you the example in our pre-meeting of when the building is lit up, and we have a lot of opportunity with all this transparency.
I'll wait.
Okay, so if everyone's clear on the motion that we're about to vote on, we'll go ahead and proceed with the roll call.
Okay, Mr. Krant,
Yes.
was that a yes?
Yes, hang on, we're getting a little,
Mr. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Biegner,
Yes.
Mr. Faison?
Yes.
Mr. Fox,
No.
and Mr. Hudson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so that passed. Yes, Mr. Lambert?
I would like to move to amend the original motion to enhance or encourage, what's the hell do I want to say? To enhance the pedestrian and other building lighting through administrative work between the planning office and the petitioner.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Fox seconded that. And I think there was mention that the other hotel had some pedestrian lighting that perhaps would work well here. Okay, and it would maybe create some sort of a nice, since it's on the same property, it would make them go together quite nicely. And maybe even tie them together through that pedestrian, so, if from one hotel, they want to use the restaurant in this one, and get to Big Beaver, frankly. Okay. Any other discussion on this? Yes, Mr.
Just a
Baker.
question on that last point you raised. So is there a pedestrian walkway from the hotel to the south, to the north into Big Beaver? Okay, thank you.
There was a hashtag walkway for, yeah.
The yellow.
yellow line, yellow line was there, yeah.
So people in the back hotel can't get to Big
Yep.
Beaver on foot.
And it'd be connected and
Or-
lit
or-
consistently.
Or really, it connects right to the retail shop shown there, so they can go right to whatever that future retail use is.
I don't know what's making me think of this. Was there a bike rack issue? Or did they have the bike racks? Okay, okay,
It was labeled.
okay. All right, so we're discussing lighting amendment at this point? All right, I think we're ready for the vote. We are voting on having the planning department work with the applicant on lighting the grounds.
Ready?
We're ready for the vote.
Mr. Lambert,
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Biegner,
Yes.
Mr. Faison?
Yes?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krant?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so the motion passes, the amendment to the motion passes. So now what's left on the table, from what I understand, is the original motion.
Yep. Absolutely.
And we now vote on it as amended, and it's got those 3 amendments in it. Okay, so is there any discussion left? Yes, Mr. Fox?
I guess I just want to say I think this is a fantastic build. I think I'm excited to see it go up and very interested to see how the property ends up looking at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Mr. Lambert?
I would echo Mr. Fox's comments. I think this would be a nice enhancement to the Big Beaver corridor and encourage the applicant to put a coffee shop up there for Mr. Savage.
And grocery.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to add that it's always nice to see people build in a parking lot, and especially at this location. It's going to be a great addition. I did want to ask before we vote whether the planning department feels confident that they have enough to
Yes.
complete what you, based on our, okay.
And also, there's a representative of your civil engineering company, Dave Hunter, is here in the background,
Okay.
so he's taking copious notes, I'm sure.
Okay. So I should ask, does the applicant have any other questions? Are you guys good?
We're good.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready for the vote. So the vote is on the original, sorry, it's not on the original, it's on the main motion as amended 3 times.
Fantastic.
And I'm supposed to say, I'm supposed to read the title, which is, we are voting on item 6, special use application, which is the proposed Big Beaver mixed use, south side of Big Beaver, east of I-75 with the address of 575 West Big Beaver, currently zoned Big Beaver. All right, I think we're ready for the vote.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Biegner?
Yes.
Mr. Faison?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krantz?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Carried.
And the motion passed unanimously. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it in.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic, and a great job to the chair. Yeah.
Thank you. It'll get more natural, I guess, soon.
Absolutely.
All right, next is item 7, public comment for items that are on the agenda tonight.
Have a good night.
If anyone's here to speak on what we just voted on? All right, seeing no one, we're going to move on to planning commission comment, and we will begin to my left. Mr. Conley.
Okay, planners gathering, again, it's tomorrow, so it'll be top of mind. You don't have to wait a week. Top of mind tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's gonna be, the subject matter is special assessments. Like, you know, for if you want to pave your road, if it's a dirt road and things like that.
Fascinating, thank you for that. Mr. Biegner.
I'm good.
Mr. Fox.
I liked that way of handling motions. As someone who's been on the receiving end of several, like, wait, can we add this? Wait, can we add this? Wait, can we add this? I appreciated the way that went. So, I'm a fan.
It was certainly interesting.
Thank you, Miss Dixon, for coming in.
Yeah. Mr. Faison?
I'm all set.
Have no comment.
Ms. Zarnicki?
None, thank you.
Ms. Dugan?
No one wants to hear from me right now, but I'm gonna throw a wrench. So this was a special use, and as we discussed, special use is now we're required to make findings and conclusions. I did not feel that this was one to sort of make an example of, because it seemed like the direction was that this was going to be approval. But I think we just need to be mindful of any, going forward, special uses we need to make findings and conclusions. If I had seen the discussion going off the rails, I would have interjected and I would have said, maybe this is one where you guys need to talk about, findings of fact and direct staff to come up with, proposed findings of fact for you. But, so, yeah. And I think that may be why you asked me earlier,
Yes.
because conditional rezonings and special uses, yeah. But, yeah, so just keep that all in the back of your minds next time we have a special use.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hudson?
No comments.
Mr. Lambert?
Nothing.
Mr. Carlisle? Mr. Salvador?
Thanks to Aileen Dixon for presenting tonight and adding 45 minutes to our meeting. In the resolutions that we ended up doing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It worked well. To your point, it seems more confusing, but it actually eliminates confusion at the same time. It's good.
Yeah, because we voted on everything piecemeal, so we knew what we were voting on. Probably makes your life a little bit easier, I hope.
Easier?
I think that was a joke.
No, I actually thought, because then it's more clear as opposed to us.
It's more clear when you read it correctly, yes.
Right.
I think the problem is gonna come in though, when you guys can't agree on the conditions, and then you can't get a second, like yeah.
Yep.
We'll go through.
Burn that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just wanted to thank Ms. Malala Holly for chairing last couple weeks ago. I saw the meeting and she did a fantastic job, and I was sorry to miss it. But, okay, we'll see everyone in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
So where were you last?